Good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here today with you all. It's an honor to be asked to give this talk. It's a surprise that I was asked to give this talk. Even though it's my story that I'm going to tell you about, it still really surprises me because I spent all my life thinking that I didn't need anyone other than myself, didn't need religion, certainly didn't need church, but here I am. 2 years ago, my wife Pal and I came to the Casa seeking a baptism for our son, and I ended up getting so much more than what I expected with just that baptism. Part of my Casa story had its beginning from an early age when I was born to very incompatible parents. They split up by the time I was 3 years old, and they went on to have 5 total divorces by the time I graduated college, impressively accomplishing a divorce-to-child ratio of nearly 3 to 1. For those who keep stats, which I did. My grandmother intervened by taking my sister Melissa and me in and raising us until we left for college. She was a Latina. She raised us on frijoles, tacos, and enchiladas until the time we left for college. And she was a Catholic too, and she modeled those values for us, though they were probably harder on my sister than they were on me. She never introduced us to Catholicism, however, because my father was really cynical and ambivalent towards organized religion, and she respected his will in this respect. She saved my sister and me from what would have been a much more difficult childhood, but we struggled nonetheless. We understood ourselves to be Mexicans, because when you're a kid, you just accept everything as normal. But we were English-speaking white kids, and we didn't really initially fit in with either the Latino community or the Anglo community, and we didn't have a community of faith to rely on. And that's the way I spent a lot of my life until later in life. After numerous fertility setbacks, my wife and I, Paula, were blessed with the birth of our son, Matthew. But 2 short months after that, Paula's last remaining parent, her father, died from pancreatic cancer. And it sent our entire house into a really deep turmoil. And I was at a breaking point. I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life that I might fail to be the husband and father that I would want to be. And I was uncertain if I could hold my own family together. But we wanted to at least get our son baptized. That was something important to me, to right some of the wrongs that I had experienced in my youth. And after the overwhelmingly warm reception we received at the Casa, the handmade blanket, I thought, can I walk the walk and go through RCIA and become in full communion with this community? The Casa staff and volunteers who run the RCIA program, many of whom are here tonight, they're second to none, truly. They make it a transformative experience. I came in asking a lot of thorny questions that stemmed from a lifetime of feeling like an outsider. I honestly halfway expected to be shown the door a time or two, but quite the opposite. I was constantly met with compassion, warmth, and excitement at my inquisitiveness. I was simultaneously softened and strengthened by the process as I was allowed to put down baggage that I'd carried for too long and put down a lot of anger. And I was able to pick up relationships and faith that I now treasure and can't live without. And somewhere along this part of the story, I discovered that the boy from whom I started this journey was not only my son Matthew, that through the mystery of faith, a boy and his now deceased grandmother might be reunited, because I see her now in the face of this church, a loving spirit that I rebelled against for so many years, because I was small and they were so powerful. But for whom I would come to realize that she was there all along and is here today, guiding and nurturing me and my son. And isn't that a little bit of heaven on earth? Thank you.